that's the way to do it. Alright, good evening everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight is the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series here at Talladega Superspeedway, and it is the season finale, so drivers are going to put down their final qualifying laps for the season, and we'll see what they have in store for us tonight. So as always though, 75 laps is our scheduled race distance. Of course, always the potential for those 3 additional green white checkered attempts, and then I'll say one faster pair should be available for the drivers should they need it. So we'll see. As qualifying obviously going to be the all-important thing to kick things off, so we'll see what they got in store for us. But next part, of course, we got to check is our point standings, because again, this is the finale. And right now, looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race. However, Sebastian Marin's got a pretty comfortable margin right now, 22 points ahead of that number 1 of Gabe Butler. And then Eric Laurie 1 point back, I should say, of Gabe Butler. They're 23 out of the lead. So as I predict, we'll see those are going to be the 3 that are going to be going for that title here tonight. And then you've got still a good battle right behind, though. You've got Dean Wilkinson in 4th, Robert Rock, Todd Siebels. 8 points between the 3 of those guys, and then a little further back, though, to Maxwell Caldwell, Vicente Guerrero. Not the seasons they've been looking for in the playoffs, unfortunately. So everybody's running their laps right now, putting those qualifying laps in. We'll see if anybody's able to get those crucial bonus points to try to shorten that distance to the leaders, or maybe Sebastian able to build a little bit of a gap over these guys. But yeah, so Boomer would say it's time to finish things up here, and I don't think you've gotten to do Talladega with these guys yet, so this will be a new experience for you, and you'll see some very aggressive and pretty fun three wide racing with these guys.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. I'm definitely looking forward to my first Talladega race with this series. Definitely going to be an exciting one for sure. Lots more space here, a little bit longer track, and obviously a little bit different placement of the start-finish line makes it a little bit exciting. So it should be a very fun race tonight. Definitely, as you said, fairly easy points standings buffer there for Sebastian Marin in first, but as we remember, he actually was able to recover from a couple incidents early or late in last week's race in order to finish P8 to maintain that points lead. So really wanted to just bring that up to say that anything really can happen tonight, and especially with more room to run. Like you said, probably going to see a little bit more aggression. Definitely going to see a lot more 3-wide action, and probably even 4-wide, whereas with Daytona, 2-wide is comfortable. 3-wide's a bit of a challenge, but it can be done. And here it's more like 3-wide is comfortable and 4-wide's a challenge. So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, it really opens up a lot of opportunities for these guys to make the bigger moves. And so I'll say this is definitely a race where qualifying maybe not as critical as, like I said, as a Daytona. So we'll have to wait and see here. But right now, still qualifying going on for these guys. Still a few drivers finishing up their laps to see where they can sort out in the race here tonight. But yeah, I'll say, like I said, Sebastian Marin probably feeling pretty good about the margin he has. Again, 22 points. It's a pretty good margin. However, I'll say we do have a pretty solid field here tonight in the low 30s this evening. So a bad race could drop him a fair bit in the standings. And of course, as we mentioned before, a lot of bonus points in play as well for these guys. So we'll have to see who's able to top the leaderboard in that qualifying session. It's actually, as you said, there goes the 1 of Gabe Butler finishing up his lap as we speak. And so it looks like most of everybody's put down laps that have wanted to. So trying to see, it looks like strategy-wise, all of the top runners have put down qualifying laps, and pretty stout ones at that. So yeah, so we just got a little bit left to go here before we kick things off. So yeah, so again, really want to thank everybody that's been a part of the series, part of the broadcasts. I'll say, Chris, just saw you chime in there as well, so definitely fun to have you in here as well. Always fun to have the views and the support on YouTube with Green White Checker TV. So I'll say, with that, Boomer, qualifying is done, the last one of the season, and that means it is time to kick off our final starting grid of the season. And on pole position, and say we talked about that driver in that number 23 of Sebastian Marin, he does get pole position. So talked about 22 points, now make it his car number 23 points margin over that 1 of Gabe Butler after that qualifying session. However, his competition right there, second position is the 1. You have Vicente Guerrero there in 3rd, and then 3rd in points, Eric Laurie sitting right there in 4th. So we've got our top 3 in the top 4 in qualifying. Then you got Joe Della Vecchia, Patrick Groover, Gary Slipinski, Dean Wilkinson, BK Anderson, and Seth Groover, our top 10. then Jack Walls and Bud Steele 11th and 12th. As we continue down the grid, you have Robert DuPont, Michael Spell, Maxwell Caldwell, Randy Meyer, Corey Lane, Brandon Briggs, Paul Patterson, Aaron Weisner, William McKellar, Justin Holland, William George, Donald Kendrick. And saying this is when you get to the big grids, you got a lot of drivers to go through here. We got Jason Adams, Brian Wang, Robert Rock, Andy Brigante, Jay Hilliard, Keith Horner, Andrew Schroeder, Bob Fitzgerald, Todd Siebels, and Brian Boyd. They're in the 34th position. So it looks like 34 trucks here this evening. And right now, looks like everybody's gonna go ahead and opt to grid here. So sometimes we've seen some guys try to be a little sneaky and maybe try to start from the pits, but I don't think we're seeing that here today. I think there's just too much in store for these guys this evening.
Yeah, definitely will be a fun one for sure as we watch those two guys up at the front as they battle for that points championship. Also, something fun to note, I guess, would be the two guys actually tied for 9th place in the standings. It's BK Anderson and Bud Steele, not in the playoff format, but they are locked even in points. So there's still something to say for a battle for 9th place of the guys not in the playoffs. So will be fun to see who edges out there. It's still kind of a pseudo championship for the guys that didn't make the playoffs, and something still to fight for. But definitely going to be a lot of action in this 34 car field tonight, and we're going to try to do our best to keep an eye on everything that we can. Definitely going to be a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely going to be busy here tonight, but it's going to be a lot of fun, though, so we'll see how it all shakes out right now. So you can see the field all kind of getting gridded up here and getting ready to roll. Again, some of the names, the faces we're used to seeing. One driver I do notice that opted to go a little different strategy is the 25 Brian Wang. Usually one of the top 5, top 10 qualifiers. He's actually opted to start from the back here in that 25 truck, so he'll be down in 26th position. This will be a fun one for you as well here, though, Boomer. It's going to be the Groover brothers. I don't think you've gotten to really witness them completely yet in their full abilities there. The 01 of Patrick Groover, who will be starting in 6th, and then 2 trucks back, the 02 of Seth Groover, twin brothers, and it's wild. I mean, it's as when they get hooked up together and everything's going right, it's as if they're pretty much like driving both trucks as one person. Very, very stout drivers, the two of them together. So it'll be fun to see what those guys have in store. But you're right, though. Everybody's got something usually to fight for, be it race win or not. But like you said, BK Anderson, he's going to be going kind of for the best of the rest, not able to make the playoffs, but definitely is going to want to try to finish this up as high as he can in the points. And Bud Steele not too far behind him in that 6 truck. So they all find a way to get right together here on these races.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely see some people trying to work together. I know last week we definitely saw a lot of people working together on that inside line, one of them being Gabe Butler in that one truck on our outside starting row this week. He was able to grab that win after all that teamwork throughout the race last week. So we'll definitely look to see some of those guys try and line up and get together and get organized. And at the end, obviously, anything's going to go, and you're just going to have to find friends where you find them.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it's what we'll see. So we saw similar on Sunday, so waiting for that green flag to fly for this initial start. It's going to be that 23 and the 1 of Sebastian Mayer and Gabe Butler on the front row as green flag flies, and we are underway for the final race of the season. 75 laps are scheduled race distance as the field heads down into turn number 1 for the first time.
Pretty quiet here so far. We'll just be settling in a little bit. Looks like obviously 75 laps is going to be a long way to go, but definitely already starting to think about fuel strategy. I think this is going to be probably a 3-stop race. Is that right, Gail?
Yeah, you're spot on. So it's going to be a 3-stop race. These trucks get a little worse fuel mileage than the Xfinity Series on Sunday night. So usually, these guys probably around the 20-22 range, I'd say, on fuel. So expect to see 3 stops from these guys here tonight. And saying one of those stops not going to be the longest of stops, so it really kind of opens up some opportunities for kind of when you want to make those stops potentially under the green flag condition. And the one thing to mention right now, though, is that 1 truck, Gabe Butler, he gets that big push from the 071 of Eric Laurie. He leads lap number 1. So kind of evens out the bonus point differential between that 23 and the 1, with the 23 getting that pole position. And now Eric Laurie is going to try to do the same in that 071, but he's got a good pusher there behind him of Patrick Groover. So we'll see if those two, and say also the 55 Dean Wilkinson. Dean usually one of those guys that really more often than not cruises in the back of the field, but it seems like around mid-season he really changed his mindset. He said, you know what, I'm just going to be going after. I want to be aggressive and be up front early and often. I'm looking just a little further back here, Boomer, and so, I say there's a few takers trying to start to work that third line here already.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like the 25 truck, even though he did not elect to qualify, he's already starting to make some moves on the outside, and obviously he's got a big following up there now with about, looks like 6 or 8 trucks out there. No, sorry, yeah, about 7 trucks out there on the outside line. Yeah, just, it's early, but there's room here, like we said. Oh, a little bit of a bobble by the one. Oh, another bobble, and they all keep, nope, they're going to...
Oh, Michael Spelly up in the catch fence there, and yeah, that's the big one here early at Talladega. And yeah, like I said, just a couple bobbles, and unfortunately it just all goes south for a number of drivers here. You see a few sneaking through fairly unscathed, but unfortunately a handful of drivers definitely getting the rough end of the stick on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be easier to count who wasn't in the wreck than who was. But
exactly,
yeah, unfortunate there, big bobbles in the middle of the pack, and looked like they had it saved, and sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, unfortunately it looks like a quick tow having to be taken by the idiot of Michael Spell. So let's go back though, Boomers. Like I said, there's a lot of kind of ducking and bobbing, weaving, if you will, and then just unfortunate that's where it all kind of just found its way towards the back, and that's usually where just that accordion effect, I guess, is the best really way to describe it. And say we'll jump a little further forward because it was right around here. Oh yeah, right there. You see, I think the 071 Eric Laurie, he had to check up for the 1, and then from there there's just a little bit of that accordion effect. You see the 01 got into the back of the 071, and then unfortunately Patrick Groover in the 02 truck, or sorry, Seth Groover in the 02 truck, just wrong place, wrong time. He's kind of the first of the accordions, and then from there, I mean, you see again Michael Spell going up and over into the catch fence. Actually drives, I said one truck drives under him there. I think that, trying to catch the car number of that truck there. I think it may have been Donald Kendrick, maybe get a good view from there. And he's actually hooked. I haven't seen this before here, Boomer. He is hooked on the safer barrier there. And so there's just, at that point, there's just nothing for Michael to do there. And yeah, I mean, you can see, so you got 2 Pennzoil trucks caught up in it, unfortunately. Robert DuPont's down in there as well. So yeah, so I know there's a second hit. Bob Fitzgerald winds up. I say I'm running super slow-mo, so it looks like these guys are going just inches at a time. But I'm gonna go back. So I do want to try to see which truck that got underneath that 88 of Michael Spell there, because that was a very wild position to be in. It was a 3-digit truck, but I couldn't quite tell which it was. So try to get another look at it here. Yeah, just unfortunate, just that accordion effect though, and then from there it's just, yeah, it's just everybody's kind of along for the ride here. Actually, is that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, trying to see who that was. That, but I mean, yeah, as I said, again, still just watching that 88 of Michael Spell, and I mean, from there, so we'll pick up the speed. But yeah, just a lot happening in a very short amount of time there. So. What we have had happen though, say we'll jump back live here though once again, Boomer. Unfortunately, the 88
going on.
Yeah, so a lot of guys taking pit stops, either fast repairs or manual damage repairs, hoping to save that fast repair. But it looks like our top 3 opt to stay out here: Dean Wilkinson, Gary Slapinski, Jason Adams, and then pretty much the rest of the field hitting pit road here. Looks like a few actually a little further back opted to stay out as well. I see Brian Boyd in the 96 as well as Donald Kendrick in the 098. They stayed out from what I'm seeing on timing and scoring, but then the first that came out with just that little bit of fuel there is the 23 of Sebastian Marin. So a little shake up to the running order, but yeah, a lot of trucks, so with some fairly lengthy pit stops here.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to see what you can repair without having to take that one single fast repair, because that's definitely really early to take that. But yeah, it looks like we've got about 6 trucks that elected to take fuel only there. That'd be the 23 of Sebastian Marin, the 1 of Gabe Butler, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. We got the 071 of Eric Laurie, 6 of Bud Steele, and 010 of Corey Lane, all electing to take fuel only there. Definitely an opportunity to kind of bridge that gap and maybe only make 2 more stops for the rest of the way. I know you said that there may be 1 splash of fuel pit stop in there somewhere, and I think this kind of forces everyone's hand to make it early.
Yeah, of course, those, I say, the early, I say, the less you have to pit time for fuel, I'll say, the better. So I think that's what these guys are doing too, is it just kind of opens up a few options. I mean, and saying I think for, like you said, Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, and those guys, the field only. I mean, you're going to restart in the top 10. Probably a pretty good gamble, I'd say, on doing that. But at the same time, I really like the gamble of the guys that were further back at the start, like Jason Adams right now. He's sitting third, started in 25th position. So he's able to jump a whole bunch of spots there. Same thing with Brian Boyd. He's up 27 positions at this point. So it puts them in a good spot where they don't have to stress as much now about track position. Yeah, they're on a 4-lap deficit of fuel, but I think everybody's still in that same 3-stop boat on fuel mileage. So, and like I said, we're going to definitely see some mixed strategies, which is starting off now with a lot of these guys opting to maybe just get a little extra fuel. You see Michael Spell finally rolling off pit road after his tow. I believe that will trap him, I think, just the 1 lap down, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Actually, maybe it looks like 2.
I'm showing 2, yeah, unfortunately, for the 88 early on here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon Briggs in the same boat here as well, also 2 down. So unfortunately, a tough break for a couple of these guys. So with that, though, lights are off in the pace car here, Boomer, so we're going to get things back going again, coming to lap number 7. I do believe we do have one driver a lap down, which is going to be that 75 of William McKellar, if my timing and scoring is correct. And yeah, indeed, he is in that number 75. So that's going to leave us 31 on the lead lap, and then 3 trucks a lap or more down. But yeah, we had some very lengthy pit stops for some of these guys in the 30, 40 second plus. Keith Horner, one of the Pennzoil trucks there, he was in pit road for almost 1 minute and 10 seconds trying to get damages repaired done to that truck. So this is that risk versus reward here, like we talked about, Boomer. Try to get what you can repaired. But the thing is, you just don't know how bad it's gonna be. So you're just hoping that thing's got enough aero, enough grunts to be able to keep in the draft here.
Yeah, for sure. I would say if you're looking at anything over 1 minute in damage, you're definitely not going to be having a great time trying to sit there and repair that, and then getting back in the draft and not being fast enough. So yeah, you definitely want to manage it as much as you can. I mean, there's still a long way to go. If you've got a little bit of damage and you do have to fall off the draft, it's not necessarily a game-ending or a night-ending deal, but we'll have to wait and see. And definitely don't want to have to take that fast repair though this early.
Yeah, exactly right. So right now the field's coming back to this trial here to get things back going again. This will be restart number 1. So again, differences between the initial start restarts is leader has control. So Dean here at this point, pace car has already been off, so he can go as early or late as he wants to. I say a lot of times we'll see these drivers wait until they pretty much right until they throw the flag. And so far looking the same for Dean there in that 55. And as they say, there goes flagman, and we are back to green here, starting lap number 7.
I definitely think after that early incident that, who knows, maybe people will try to calm down just a little bit, but I don't know. It definitely depends on the strategy. I know last week we kind of talked about the Boomer method of trying to go up front and lead every lap you possibly can, and then the Gael method being maybe laying back a little bit and being behind all that chaos and calamity as it happens. So you could definitely see there's a little bit more of a separation between, I don't know, maybe the top 10 cars in the lead pack, and then there's a lot of people that are, strung out, kind of scattered throughout the field the rest of the way back, just maybe settling in and being comfortable, not driving to the front and being in the chaos just yet. So
yeah, like I said, it looks like kind of not a split pack, but definitely a little bit of a difference in a few spots there. But I was watching on that restart though. I mean, Gary Slipinski is wondering what he's going to have to do to find some friends there, because he was in a great spot. And then all of a sudden, just everybody ditched him, it felt like, in that 78 truck. But now he's getting some opportunities here. He's going to lead that, or try to get to that middle lane. As I say that, there goes Vicente Guerrero. He's going to hop to the middle in front of Dean Wilkinson. And so I think we have our answer there about people are going to ride or not as we go 3x3 here for the top spots.
yeah, and the 23 of Sebastian Marin leading that last lap. So canceling out that bonus point that the one of Gabe Butler had from leading the first lap. Obviously still going to try and look into the points battle whenever we can, and actually you can see the looks like the 23 and the 1 are locked on together on that inside line, just like they did at Daytona last week, so maybe trying to work together until the end here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, I say Gabe's not going to do anything risky to try to find his way to get around or beat the 23 of Sebastian Marin. I mean, he's going to try to beat him heads up, of course, and but he doesn't want to be the reason for something to happen to that 23 truck. I mean, they race with each other very well with a lot of respect all season long. And saying again, also, I guess I'd say basically teammates as well, using in the same Discord channel as well. So a lot of teamwork between them. Is a little bobble there, entry on 3 on the outside lane there. But yeah, and so the thing about these trucks is they just the kind of the bumping window is just, it's a lot more sensitive, I feel like, in these trucks than it is in the Xfinity cars. It seems like if you hit them just a little bit too hard or maybe just a little bit off, it just really upsets the truck. Talk to some of the drivers, and they mentioned it almost feels like if you're the leading truck getting that push, it almost feels like you're getting lifted off the ground. And at that point, I mean, it's like trying to drive a wheelbarrow basically, and it's not an easy thing to do. So I think that's why these guys have had to really kind of work on their pushing abilities and when and where to make those pushes. But of course, then the big one is just trying to stay centered with the truck in front of you, because as soon as you get off center, that's usually when things go south.
Yeah, definitely. You want to be as straight as possible when you're pushing the guy in front of you, and the more lined up you can be, the better to help push you guys forward for sure. It's definitely easy to bobble off the corners if you're maybe not as experienced, or watching the car in front of you as they kind of bobble back and forth. But if you got to keep a smooth wheel and just keep it lined up as best as you can while you're trying to push the car in front of you. Truck, I should say. Yeah,
it's very difficult, because that's the thing too, is a lot of times you'll see is you kind of just get like put in a trance, is the best way I can really say it, as the 18 gets a little tight there off of the exit there of through 1 and 2 there up to the 052 Joe Della Vecchia, but again stay off each other. But I mean, you're just pretty much just tagged on right to the back of that truck in front of you, and so basically that's all you see for a number of laps here. But the problem is, at some point, you, like I said, you kind of just get entranced by it, because at some point, if they are able to clear, they drop lanes. You've been following them for 2, 3, 4, whatever laps it is, and you're like, okay, well, I'm following them back to the bottom, but you may not be clear yet. It's one of the things that you always got to keep that spotter in your ear and be really aware of your surroundings, because I've had it happen to me as well before, where you're so committed to that guy in front of you, you make that move with them, and it wasn't quite time for you to do that. And that's where we've seen some incidents happen as well. So it's just again just little different things of super speedway racing, that just a little different skill set than regular 1.5-mile tracks and short tracks and such.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not hard to move up a lane or a half a lane as you come off the corners. You definitely have to almost turn down as you get back to the straightaways, the short chute and the backstretch too. But yeah, definitely getting a little packed up here. We can see pretty good 3-wide action, at least 4 rows deep all the way on the outside, and that inside lane's probably got the most cars lined up. But we saw a couple laps ago, it looked like Brian Boyd there in the 96, just kind of playing it safe and pulling to the bottom and getting out of the way for now. So we've got quite a bit of cars up in this front pack, but definitely a few stragglers, just probably trying to play the safe method, especially for those who may not have a fast repair left for the rest of this race.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing there is making sure you have something at the end of this race, because at this point, if you've had to burn that fast repair, I mean, at this point you've kind of used your mulligan, if you will. So we did see the middle lane. It got the good push that they were looking for, that allowed Vicente Guerrero to clear as they're peaking at 4 wide, and now we're going to have trouble in turn number 3. And big hit there, and that's going to take out a number of drivers once again here. That's the second big one here at Talladega. And I saw that 4 wide for a split second. I don't think it was by plan, but I think at that point, just that the reaction time was just too much for some of those guys to be able to kind of get squared away. And yeah, once again here, Boomer, it's going to be more of who wasn't in it than was. And yeah, I saw one truck take a brutal shot there, and I'm going to go on a limb and say it was Gary Slapinski, who was kind of, I think, unfortunately, the innocent bystander of that.
78 there for sure.
I was saying, from what I'm seeing, I think he may have kind of left the building in that incident. So we'll go back here and take a look, because numerous drivers, unfortunately, caught up in this one. We'll back it up and watch.
78 got a little loose. Well, got a good push off of the 18 and just kind of got turned too much, started going left. Tried to correct it, and by the time he corrected it, he was up into the wall and into the O2 on the outside there. So definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, just again a little bit off-centered, and at that point, everybody's just trying to recover. But then you'll see right there's that little bit of contact, and that's what really upsets that 78 car. He tries to hang on to it, but then unfortunately in the process, just nowhere for the O2 to go. I mean, pretty much the whole outside line is just along for the ride there. And then there goes Gary, just hooks the wall. I mean, that's some pretty impressive airtime. I can't even get it to show how high he is here. And yeah, say again, we're running super slow mo there, but and say actually, there's gonna be a view for that 63 there of Brandon Briggs. I think actually it looks like completely drives underneath him there. You can see him completely locked it down and try to avoid that incident, but. We'll take a better look at it once more here to try to get a better view of who all else was in it, because we did have a number of drivers, unfortunately, caught up in this incident here.
Yeah, another thing to note, the O2 of Seth Groover was in the outside lane, just wrong place, wrong time, second wreck in a row, and unfortunately, he's already had to retire. We've also had Donald Kendrick retire from the night as well, so unfortunate to see them out so early. Probably just unfortunate cause of being wrong place, wrong time, totally wrecked race car, and having to burn those fast repairs early, and then being done on the second wreck.
Yeah, so I would say peeking on the YouTube chat, I'll say definitely one of the more regular supporters of the league is the mom of the O2s of Karen Groover, and yeah, she chimed in. There's like, well, good night, Irene, and yeah, that's exactly it. Unfortunately for him, so. You're right though, just bad luck, and unfortunately, yes, for Seth, that's an early evening for him. And strategy-wise, looks like everybody hit pit road there under that yellow. But yeah, the question is going to be kind of who's left at this point. Looking to see on the Lucky Dog side of things, I'm showing, like I said, the 098 you mentioned, Donald Kendrick looks like he is retired as well. Showing a number of drivers here a lap down right now. Starting off with, I believe, William McKellar in the 75. Brandon Briggs, I believe, may have actually got the wave round from 2 down to the 1 down in the 63. Aaron Weisner, that's also 1 down. And then right now looking for like Dean Wilkinson, actually still on pit road here. So we'll everything clear up, because right now not 100% sure kind of who is where on the lap down side of things. But yeah, definitely an attrition-filled one here early on.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like people like Dean Wilkinson, Gary Slepansky, and Corey Lane taking some extended, and Jack Walls too, extended time on pit road, looking at over 200 seconds of repairs already for Gary Slepansky. So definitely not the night that he was hoping to have here tonight for sure.
Yeah, and then Seth's brother Patrick, I say he was on pit road for about a minute 15 seconds. You can see a little bit of nose, a little bit of right or left front damage to that truck. Back end looks pretty solid, but honestly at Talladega, you'd rather the rear end damage than the front end damage, to me at least. But what I am seeing though here, Boomers, right now we're going to get the one to go on lap number 16. Remember we talked about that fuel number. These guys probably able to go about 20, 21, 22 laps. So at this point of the race, this caution, I believe, puts these guys right on the edge of that 2-stopper here from the end. So, and I see a lot of takers here topping off on this one to go. Looks like, I believe, Brian Wang may be the first one out, along with Maxwell Caldwell, Patrick Groover, Robert Rock and company. So, this is another thing we did talk about, though, on the fast repair side of things here, Boomer. So I just got some insight from Dean Wilkinson. Unfortunately, didn't have the fast repair checked, and so he had required damage to be taken care of on that truck. So unfortunately, he's got to wait for that required damage to be done before he can do anything else. This one, he's kind of just stuck for it looks like about a 5-minute required. So that's a tough one to do, because a lot of these guys, there's that strategy. Do you want to have your fast repair defaulted on, defaulted off? But I say, unfortunately, because if you get a little fender bender and you burn your fast repair, then you're not very happy about that, but then you run into those situations, unfortunately, what Dean just had happen here.
Yeah, definitely 5 minutes is 5 minutes of required repairs is a fair amount. Probably not going to be the fastest of cars when he gets back on the field, when he does all those required repairs. But hopefully he can get back out here and maybe try and salvage tonight. But definitely not the easiest way to do it. Going to be in quite a bit of hole by the time he actually gets back and running.
Yeah, I think the best bet is, if he can, is to try to get that fast repair taken as soon as he gets the opportunity. So we'll see where that drops him. Unfortunately, I say what we do have those. I mean, we've got a number of trucks. We have actually only got 24 trucks now on the lead lap here with all of this boomer. So really, like I said, I mean, this field has really kind of decimated itself here in this first kind of third of the race here. Right now, about to start lap number 17 at the green here. And again, it's really shaking up the running order. I mean, I'm looking at the top 6 drivers, top 8 drivers. The only drivers that were in the top 10 to start this thing off are Vicente Guerrero and BK Anderson. Everybody else has gained about 20 positions from this yellow. I think unfortunately these yellows have really taken out those front runners, and just, again, as we said, we don't know where the safe place to be is. Unfortunately, so far this evening has not been out front as we get back to green here, start lap number 17.
Yeah, for sure. Look at some big movers here. Definitely Bob Fitzgerald up, running in the 5th position. Started 32nd, so up 27 spots so far. That's a huge climb. Definitely a lot of people. Even Jay Hillard running 3rd, started in 29th. So a lot of guys moving up from the back of the field. And now that some of these guys might be quieting down in the back, who knows? Maybe they won't. But now that a lot of people don't have those fast repairs left, a lot of guys are able to make their way to the front and challenge if they do feel that comfort zone, you know.
Yep, yeah, exactly right. So you can see right there a big move by the 24 Jason Adams, was able to push William George to the front, but then the 24 saw the opening. He dropped to the inside lane there and is able to actually clear that 99 as well to try to take over the lead of this race. But I'm watching this 3rd lane, say lap down or not, they're going to go after it here, and that's going to be the 78 of Gary Slipinski. He wants to get his lap back the hard way here, Boomer, and right now these guys are pushing very efficiently here. And that 78 has nosed his way to the front here, and just his nose ahead there, he's going to drop down to the middle lane in front of that 99. And so, yeah, so say it hasn't scared a lot of people. Oh, as I say that Sebastian Marin, he's made contact with the outside wall. That's our points leader entering tonight. He's going to keep the truck off the wall, but not sure what happened to Sebastian. But unfortunately, that's going to be a solid shot for him. And that also might, unfortunately, be the kind of get away, or it might take away his what do you call it, his incident-free race here. But let's go back and take a look here through 1 and 2. And oh yeah, the 18 truck just unfortunately just kind of drifts up a little bit of net code, but yeah, the 18 just kind of drift up into him, and at that point, I mean, he's just going to try to hang on and just kind of minimize the damage as best he can. You can see pretty quick hands, but unfortunately a couple solid hits, especially to that right front. So not feeling the most confident about that. He should be able to hang on to the draft, but that right front damage is never what you want to have here at a plate race.
Yeah, and I definitely think what was the 18 there was definitely one. I think he's behind the 78 when the 78 got turned in that 2nd incident there. So maybe a little bit of aggression there from Justin Holland early, but definitely trying to push his way to the front if he can.
Yeah, so that's a tough break for the 23. But like I said, I mean, you never know how these races are going to shake out. So right now, at the moment, you saw there William George leading this thing, but here comes Gary Slipinski, and like I said, he wants to try to be that on the tail end of the lead lap, not the first truck one down. Saying if you got any helpers here, that's 37 here, Keith Horner, that's a good pusher to have right behind you. But as soon as I say that, though, what I'm impressed here is look at the nose of that 25 truck of Brian Wang. He's got some pretty decent front end damage, but that truck's still working that 3rd lane pretty well with help from Maxwell Caldwell. And then also seeing Dean Wilkinson starting to roll back out on track after that damage.
Yeah, I was going to mention he might have a good chance here to pick up the pack. I think he's going to keep it on the apron here in 3 and 4. Very kind, very smart to do that.
Almost a big moment there in 3
that was
and
a
4.
bobble.
Yeah, the 24 and the 59. That it really kind of ended up with the 2 of them. But they, once again, great hands, able to keep it together. But you're right, though, Dean's going to should be able to tag onto the back of these guys. Unfortunately, right now it's 6 laps down.
Yeah.
But as hard as these guys have been racing, I mean, I wouldn't count him out yet. But yeah,
I just can't believe they have not calmed down whatsoever.
Nope, they're ready.
No, they're. Everyone wants to win this one tonight, but you gotta get there first. So hopefully we can keep this green for a little longer here.
Yeah, so I'll say right now these guys continue to run 3x3. There have been a few spots here where it looks like cooler heads are prevailing. That's around the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. He's rolled straight out of it. He's like, yeah, you guys go on ahead here. I'm going to kind of bide my time, and I'm going to just try to make this thing to the end. So he's going to try to pick up a little bit of draft here. I'll say that it's a bit of a risk reward. You don't want to drop too far back off this lead pack. The place I really like right now, again, it's kind of what we talked about. I feel pretty good about where that one truck of Gabe Butler is. He's got one truck in front of him of Paul Patterson, but he's got about a second behind him to Andrew Schroeder there, and it's saying he's nice and calm single file. But actually, I'm looking at that one truck, also some pretty decent right side damage to that one truck as well. So talk about those bonus points for incident-free race here. It's very possible that one and the 23 might be out of the running on that one. So might just be a heads-up race here for those guys. And an update on that 23 truck. He is sitting in the 20th spot in that second pack, but with some good help with his teammates here.
Yeah, he's definitely thankful to not be knocked out of the draft for now. So a little bit of a side scrape, but really that's probably not too big of a deal compared to some of the other damage that some of these other guys have. But we were kind of trying to check in on the Lucky Dog battle too. It's kind of interesting to see. We've got obviously the 78's trying to lead every lap he can, even though he's not really leading the lap. He's trying to lead the pack, at least in the front there. I believe the 25 comes down and settles in front of him on the inside lane there. But Gary in the 78 and Brandon Briggs, the only two cars, one lap down or just above one lap down, depending on if Gary's leading the pack up here or not. But definitely going to be tough for that Lucky Dog battle for Brandon Briggs to make it, because I think he fell back further in the pack. But be interesting to see if the 71 does get his lap back, though, naturally. That'd be a big opportunity for both him and Brandon to get back on the lead lap and try to get back into this thing.
Yeah, exactly right. And unfortunately, I just saw him come in timing scoring. Looks like something happened with Jack Walsh, and it's saying he had to take a tow, and so unfortunately, whatever it was happened there. Say he's had to take a tow, so he had his bad race going from bad to worse as well. So. Like I said, just attrition really setting in here. But here's Keith Horner, though. So he's one of those drivers, if there's a second or a third lane, he's going to be in it. So it's no surprise to see him working that top right now. So, but yeah, right now, though, like I said, Gary Saplinski kind of trapped on the inside line here. But like I said, also, he's still that first truck one lap down. So he's not in any threat to lose that position as of yet, because his closest competitor of Brandon Briggs is a fair bit. Actually, whoa, Brandon Briggs, he's actually fallen way off the back here now. Not sure if we missed something a lap or two ago, but that's the 63 now way off the back of this field here. So that's the last thing that he was looking for. So unfortunately, he's just going to have to try to kind of just damage mitigation here at this point.
Yeah, it does look like Jack Wallace came off pit road, came down the backstretch, hit 145 miles an hour, and towed and said, "That's it, I'm done." He is retired for the night. But we're looking at Keith Horner Jr. up here in the front, and Brian Wang leading the inside and the outside lines right now. Calm down a little bit. Only 2 wide, but we're 2 wide, probably 10 to 15 rows deep. So there's still quite a bit of cars in this lead pack here, but definitely a little more relaxed than they were before the last couple cautions. So definitely maybe trying to settle in here, but we do have one car in the back there trying to set something on the out in the third row, but definitely a little bit more chilled out for now.
Yeah, it looks much calmer now. And, but I think I'd say with all this stuff that's gone on here, it's been changing drivers' strategies and kind of how they race these races. Right now, I'm kind of focusing right now on that number 45 with Todd Siebels. I say Todd usually one that's kind of just at the very back of the lead pack and just waits and bides his time until it's really time to go. But I think with the attrition that he's seen so far tonight, he said, you know what, I'm just going to try to be up front and let's just same thing, kind of let the chips fall where they may. So. Right now, he's up in that fourth truck on the outside line. But right now, that 01 and 37, definitely a potent duo here up front. These guys are really pushing strong, and there goes the 01, able to push that 37 to the front, sneak in front of that 25 of Brian Wang, which will now allow Patrick here in the 01 to try to lead that second lane here.
Yeah, definitely a good push from the 01 to get the 37 clearing down. Now the 37 leading the 25 and the 78
goes Gary.
Line. Yep. 37's leading the 25 and the 99 now on that inside line as Gary continues to try to take his lead or his lap back the hard way for sure. But fun to watch these guys battle. It's they're still pushing pretty hard, even though it's only 2 wide, for sure.
And yeah, say a little bit of movement still from here and there, from side to side. But yeah, like I said, Keith Horner able to get to the bottom. That allowed the 78 though of Gary Sapinski. He got to the top because again, he's not going to want to give up. I do kind of agree with him here. If you have the ability to try to be in front at the time of yellow, it's definitely in your best interest, because then you don't have to worry about restarting behind the rest of the field. You kind of just get that free wave around, and then you're right back into the thick of it here. So. I'm on board with what he's doing here, but again, I'm looking at the where drivers started to where they are running here, and again, I mean, other than Patrick Gruber, he's only gained 3 spots right now, sitting around that 3rd, 4th position now, about 2nd or 3rd. Everybody else is plus 29, 24, 19, 28, 16, 15. It just shows because these wrecks have happened towards the front of the field, and those guys that were kind of in that cruise mode towards the back of the field, they've mostly been able to get through unscathed here. So say the kind of those 2 strategies so far tonight, as I say, that 24.99, a little bobble there down the back, they get it gathered back up. But yeah, so far it looks like being in the back that early portion of the race may have been the right strategy for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I know before I believe it was the last accident, we noted that the 63 of Brandon Briggs had jumped down to the out of the pack. Well, fortunately, he actually made his way into the last wreck too. So even the guys that are trying to lay in the back have definitely been involved in some of these wrecks. So really, it seems like nowhere is safe out here tonight. But yeah, we'll have to see. Definitely, like I said, a little calmer, but we're probably getting pretty close to pit stops here. We've run about 15 laps on fuel. Hasn't been really one outright leader. There's definitely been a couple, changing back and forth in the lead, so there's not really one person that's burning a bunch of fuel being the lead car. But maybe the 01, he's definitely been leading that outside line, or been the second car in that outside line for quite a while. But definitely starting to think about pit stops here as we get to about 40, I think we'll be 46 laps to go at the stripe this time by.
Yeah, so yeah, probably about another 5-6 more laps, I think, before we start to see some of these guys hit pit road. And I'm saying the other question will be kind of who can stretch maybe an extra lap or 2 just for that little bit of breathing room. And I think that's part of also why you're starting to see that second lane start to dissipate just a little bit here. I think these guys getting ready to try to find their way to the inside lanes once they get some openings to be able to be ready for that pit road. But yeah, so right now though, it's been like I said, it's been a tough one. I would say, unfortunately, like you mentioned, the 83 of Jack Walsh. His night over, and he's hopped over on YouTube, and yeah, definitely not happy with the way tonight has gone. So I say in a sense, I wonder, it's like maybe it's good in a way that it's like, okay, that was a terrible race, but at the same time it's the end of the season, so I got a couple weeks to kind of blow off the steam and then come back at it strong next week, or next season I should say. So there's always those 2 ways of taking, where it's like, unfortunately, some things you kind of just keep that bottled up for a couple weeks, or maybe you can just blow that steam off over the off season.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely tough. I know I had an opportunity where I was running in the top 10, I think at Chicagoland, for the end of one of the Monday Night Fuel Premier Series races, and last race of the season, and just got taken out. Probably could have been what would have been my best race of the year this season, and definitely makes you, we have one truck way out of shape. Looks at the 18, kind of made a big move to the outside, but gonna stay green, no caution, no contact. But that was definitely a big bobble by the 18. But as I was saying that, I was just gonna say, definitely makes you eager to get back to the next season. Definitely not a fun way to end it. You got to kind of collect yourself and not worry about it too much, but definitely going to make you hungry to try and do better when the next season rolls around, for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. So say the only thing that might be a little bit of something to look forward to though, Jack, is say it may not be your 83 Pennzoil truck up front, but say it's a Pennzoil truck leading the race nonetheless. This time though, the 37 of Keith Horner. So I know you want to have your 83 up front there, but at least Pennzoil still being very well represented. Got that bright yellow truck leading this race here. But like I said, Gary Sapinski though, just still doing what he needs to do here. He's now kind of, these guys have settled in behind him. And so what this has done though, as well as, again, it's kind of changed the Lucky Dog order. Because I actually do need to mention right there the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. He was off on his own, so now he has fallen a lap down. So unfortunately for Brandon Briggs, who's unfortunately kind of with one other truck there, we mentioned him losing that main pack. That's actually put Vicente at the moment as that lucky dog driver in that 14, while Gary continues to lead his field here.
Yeah, definitely need to remember that Gary is still a lap down, but working really hard to try and get his lap back here the hard way. So definitely commend him for trying to get some experience. Still technically leading laps, leading the field at least, but still one lap down at the back of this pack.
Yeah, so the other thing too is Gary pitted at lap number 13, Boomer, compared to everybody else at 14, 15. So that would kind of lead you to think that he might have to be one of the first to hit pit road in that 78 truck. So possibly either coming here to 34, or ideally if he can come to 35. So we'll see if he has to duck off or not. But it looks like field number is going okay for him so far. So he's going to continue on here. I do need to also add on the chat there. Say had one of my friends and viewers of Jamie was mentioning noticing a new voice in the booth tonight. And yeah, you were exactly right, Jamie. Boomer Logan, say he gets a race with him from time to time over at Fuel. Say he's going to be adding his talents to the Green White Checkered TV broadcast partnership on Tuesdays and or Thursdays. Still trying to nail down all the details of that one, but you'll definitely be seeing and hearing more of Boomer over the course of the next few seasons. So it's been really cool to find and add all this new talent over this last few bit.
I'd definitely maybe say talent is a little bit of a stretch word for now, but no, I really appreciate it, Gael. Yeah, definitely appreciative to have this opportunity to join the booth with you. It's been fun. I know we've only called a couple races here, this being my second race for this series, but it's definitely been fun so far, and looking forward to starting up all the next seasons in the Area 51 leagues with you and with GWC TV.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, I'm impressed here with the fuel module, I gotta say, for Gary Slapinski, because we're on 35 now. And again, him pitting at 13, yes, there was some yellows in there, but at this point, I mean, that's about 22 laps. So to me, that's actually him able to go a little further than I would have expected here. But I do think that pit window is going to be opening quickly. See there, Maxwell Caldwell found an opening. He squeezes into that inside line. So I think we're starting to see that teamwork. That was a nice move there by the 25 Brian Wang, allowing the 94 to sneak on in here. And you can see every driver that outside line loses, that's going to cost him some time. And here comes that 78. He's going to come in, but he's got some help here. So he's going to have a little bit of a friend here with two other trucks. That's a big entry by that 78 truck. But he's going to bring in the 37, the 24, and the 07. And I believe Brian Boyd had tried to hit pit road but did not make it. So that's going to cost him a ton of time. He's going to have to swing back around and try once more here. But unfortunately, that's going to really cost him the draft. But I'm watching the 01 here. He's jumping to the top because he couldn't find the hole. He has to find somewhere to drop into. So at this point, he's kind of given up front. He's going to try to find an opening here further in the back.
Yeah, I think we'll look to see most of the rest of the field trying to come down this time. Everyone's just about on either running on lap 21 or 22 of their fuel run. So, oh yeah, we definitely got a bunch of takers this time by, it looks like we got about 8 cars, 8, 9, 10 cars coming down this time.
Oh, it's a big tank slapper there for that 101 of Randy Miner. Hangs on to it somehow. But yeah, here comes the field, though. Like you said, a big group of trucks hitting pit road here. It looks like
there's actually an accident on pit road.
Oh, yeah.
The 99 and the 101 get together outside of the concrete, unfortunately. Once you get inside of the concrete, that's when you get to be a ghost car, as it were, to everyone else. But yeah, the 99 and the 101 just making contact just before they cross over that line. If you're on the asphalt on pit road, you can still make contact with other cars. So definitely unfortunate there.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. There's a couple things you have to do, and one is obviously, yeah, you want to get in safely, but then from there on, you still need to actually hit your pit pucks nice and safe as well, and the exit. So say here comes the next batch of trucks, so they're all going to jump onto pit road, and it's a Sebastian Marin entry. He's going to try to pass everybody on the outside line. We'll see if he got down to speed in time or not, but so far so good. But like I said, a little bit of 3 wide here. These guys trying to find their pit boxes. I'm watching that 14 and the 32 are right on the edge of stepping on each other's toes, but so far looks like everybody's able to nail their entries here.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best to get on pit road there is Sebastian Marin. That's a lot of aggression, and it's amazing how many spots he made up coming to pit road. He probably made 6 to 8 spots up there just by coming in that early, and he's going to roll off, I think, second in line out of that whole group. So Not that it's going to make a huge difference there, but definitely better to be towards the front than the back of whatever pack you're running with. And it looks like they are going to be passed by the leaders by the time that they roll around. So
yeah, now it's just how fast they can get through the gears here. So you've got, again, kind of a two group fight here. So you got the 25, the 23, and the one trying to lead this group that just pitted. And we'll jump back a little further, try to find that second group that had already made their pit stop, being led right now once again by Gary Slipinski in that 78. So again, he's not going to give up that fight, but he's got Robert DuPont and the 37 of Keith Horner. So it looks like they're going to get to now about the top 5 here. And saying here, look at that second pack. Look at Maxwell Caldwell. He's going to pick up BK Anderson and the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Because this is actually now also a very challenging Lucky Dog battle. Because look at the 14, look at 78. They're pretty much side by side here. So this is going to be a big point for these guys too as we just cross the halfway point.
And I think the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald is right in there too. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know if I saw him or not. But yeah, definitely at least the 14 and the 17 are definitely battling pretty hard there, trying to stay on the lead lap.
Oh yeah, I see Bob. Yeah, he's trying to chase his way back up there too. So yeah, so right now, yeah, pretty much a three truck fight here for that Lucky Dog. And say just right now, it just depends on which lane's going to be the faster lane right now. And so it's just feet between the two of them. You see the 14 right now has the nose ahead of the 78. So if there's a yellow right now, the 14 be in the catbird seat, but let's say the ebb and flow is always changing. But you did mention though that second pack a little bit further back, they've caught these guys as well. So that lead pack has now grown to about 14, looks like actually 15 trucks strong here. And it has also added that 08 to Bob Fitzgerald to the mix as well. So
yeah,
we got a lot of opportunities for these guys to try to get back on that lead lap.
Yeah, definitely. I want to note, if you look at the second guy and the third guy in that inside line, Sebastian Marin and Gabe Butler, they were way off of this pack, pitted late. Obviously, Sebastian Marin making contact under green during the last, right before the pit stop cycle, I should say, and still up there, managed to make his way all the way back to the front. And if you actually look, we've also got the 01 way on the outside, and it looks like the 58, I believe, there with them. That 01 has definitely, that 01 has definitely been, Patrick has definitely been enjoying being that first guy on the outside line, pushing and getting pushes. They're working hard. He's definitely worked quite hard by himself or with a few other people all night long, all the way in the outside lane.
Yeah, so the problem for Patrick is right now still at a bit of a deficit. You can see that left front hood and fender, just a little bit of damage there. So probably not going to be the most stout truck. I say definitely not the most streamlined right now as things run, but I say it's never going to be for lack of effort out of that 01 truck. So like I said, right now he's got good help from Jay Hilliard to say try and push him to the front, but right now these guys are kind of off on their own, just the two of them compared to the inside lines. They've got about 5-6 trucks in a lined up here. So I'll say right now, let's say the odds are not in their favor, but they're definitely not going to have any quit in them. And the other thing, of course, like I mentioned, Boomer, is say still one more pit stop to go. So these guys know that there's going to be one more opportunity here to try to make that big move. But the thing is, with the timing of that yellow, is there isn't going to be a lot of leeway for how early or late you can pit. We're going to see all these guys probably right around that 20, maybe 18 or so to go window. I don't think we're going to see anybody be able to really kind of do a short stop unless they really try to stretch that final stint.
Yeah, definitely. There was really only one lap difference, and depending on who pitted on the before one to go on the caution and the last caution, so it's really only one lap difference. Now there was a couple people like the 78 who had to come in that first time by versus guys like the 23 or the 1 that were able to come in 2 laps later. So there's a little bit of a bigger strategy difference there, but really not that much different. Definitely. You're really forced to have to come in within 1 to 2 laps. You might see 4 different laps of pit stops this time, as opposed to the last pit stop cycle being about 3 different groups, but nothing too crazy that you can do with the fuel so far. But we definitely see a lot of shuffling around still. Definitely benefiting the 78 there of Gary Slipinski a little bit, as he's a couple cars ahead of the 14 of Vicente. Again, that Lucky Dog 1 car lap down battle still ongoing here as we start to pack up a little bit more 3 wide, maybe a little bit more aggression as we get to 33 to be 32 laps to go this time at the stripe.
Yes, and Gary once again able to get a great push from Maxwell. Caldwell, he's trying to decide where he wanted, I think, try to jump back in front of that 94 because Maxwell is giving him such a good run there. And I'm saying that for a moment, he again, once again, was that last car on the tail end, or first car, I should say, on the tail end of the lead lap there. But now you can see that inside line just has not prevailed, and that momentum has really shifted. A big move by BK Anderson, goes from the top straight to the bottom, straight to the lead. So it was a good move by that 32 truck here to take the point there in that number 32 Toyota. As now he's going to take the point on the inside lane there. I say Maxwell trying to lead that middle lane, and then still the 01, like you've talked about, Boomer, just not going to give up that third lane here. He's going to hang on to that for all he's worth. But I'm going to watch this 78 because I think right here, 3 and 4, you can see he is cleared and he's wasting no time. He's going to hop up there. He wants to once again lead that second groove here. He got a great push last time from Maxwell. See if he can get a little bit more of that. And I'm seeing a little more takers to that third lane now. As I try to see who peaked up there. That's Eric Laurie in the 071. He's worked his way up to the top here. I'll say Eric again. He was third in points coming into tonight, so I say definitely can't count that 071 out either.
Yeah, definitely the 59 there, Jay Hillard, dropping down one lane to the middle, and actually looks like everyone just about dissipated from that outside line as the 01 finally tucks in here with a 37 behind this middle lane. So maybe single file action, or double file action here, settling down just a little bit. Actually, we do see the 14 jump out here. He's really trying hard to battle. We'll see how this works because they're all 3 wide coming up on a couple lap cars going into the corner that didn't make their way to the apron. So we'll see if everyone can get around these guys cleanly. That could definitely cause a few issues and a little bit of calamity at the front here, as looks like they're going to be able to get down on the apron in the short chute there.
Yeah, you saw Brandon Briggs was quick to get to the apron as soon as he had the opportunity to. So I mean, you of course you want to push as hard as you can because you don't want to lose that draft. Unfortunately for Brandon, in doing so, trying to be respectful, it is going to cost him the draft, unfortunately. But you're right, though. You saw the rest of the field there. They're all trying to space out to try to make sure that there wasn't going to be that squeeze play, like you said. 3 wide, it works. That fourth, if he gets that 4th wide, it's a little bit hairy. And unfortunately, just did not quite pan out there for that 63. Rolling out of it to again try to play nice and kind of give a lot of respect to the leaders there. So yeah, it's unfortunate that it kind of bit him, but and say we still got lots of racing to go here. Unfortunately, that will put him to 3 down now. But yeah, right now that battle though for that lucky dog, like you said, Vicente, he tried to make a big move and it did not work because right now there's the 78. He's leading that outside lane. That 14 truck, he's about the last truck in that outside lane. So right now kind of bookending this draft pack.
Yeah, he's looking like he's kind of trying to peek up there with Keith Warner Jr. in the 37, trying to get that outside line maybe going again, maybe see if that 01's willing to lead that line again. But for now, they're just kind of settling back in here 2 wide. We still got the really BK Anderson in the 32 is leading that inside line, and as you said in the 94, Maxwell Caldwell second place on the outside line there. Although it looks like Maxwell's going to get a little bit of an advantage as they push down the back stretch. So the outside lane pulling even with the inside lane, and a reminder that the 78 of Gary Slapinski is still a lap down. Again, still working really hard to try and earn that lead lap spot the hard way. I mean, he's been doing a very good job. Hopefully he can time it right if there were to be another caution tonight.
Yeah, no, he's definitely done a really good job of controlling the lead of this race, be it from a lap down or not. So, and so the other thing I got to mention as well is that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, actually the Monday Next Gen Series champion, was able to clinch that championship on Monday this week. So definitely a big congrats to him in that 94 truck. I say he's been definitely one to watch in a lot of series, a lot of practices, and so he was finally able to get that one. He had a great season last season. Well, just the playoffs didn't go the way he was hoping to, but this time able to put the entire season together. So I'm sure that's a nice weight off his shoulders, and also obviously just an enjoyable thing to do as well. Of course, the championship never an easy thing to win. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, second place in that championship, it was in that 78 truck right there, Gary Slapinski. So I'll say these guys very familiar with each other in, it looks like, multiple forms of racing here.
Yeah, it's definitely fun when you get a chance to work with multiple guys across multiple leagues. You get to know their driving styles a little bit better, and get to maybe lean on them a little bit more than other people that you know, and it's just fun to race with people that you have a good rapport with, whether you know they're teammates or not. But just to know people and run side by side, it definitely makes this whole sim racing community quite a bit of fun to be a part of, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think community is the perfect way to put that too. Is we've seen these guys, and that's the thing. I mean, from time to time, of course, there's gonna be some frustrations with other people, other drivers. But really, when things kind of get into the deep of it, like these guys it becomes a little family, and these guys are all there for each other. And I'm sure you as well as have met some really great people that you consider some of your best friends through this racing community. So it's just really cool what these guys are able to do. And we've seen some of the selfless things that these guys are able to do on sponsorships. Like I think that 63 USA, hopefully we'll be able to take some more time to talk about Brandon Briggs at some point here tonight as well. Not the night he was looking for, but also some great paint schemes on that one. He's got the Brian Clausen tribute scheme on that 63 truck. So a lot of cool things these guys are able to do, and bring awareness to various groups and such during these races.
Yeah, definitely some great causes on some of these trucks, and definitely some great looking paint schemes out here. It's always fun to see painting these cars. I guess quote unquote painting, or really designing, graphic design of these cars is such a fun thing. It's always cool to see what everyone has with their own personal touches. Some people trying to imitate real world paint schemes or cars, and other people trying to put something together, maybe a fantasy scheme, or even trying to find local sponsorships or good causes to support. So it's always cool to see all the different paint schemes and styles of artwork that everyone has.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing is, some guys are very committed to a certain sponsor or paint scheme, and so you kind of just know them from those schemes. And say, so like for me, Gabe Butler in the one truck, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything but the Guinness truck. Eric Laurie in the 071, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything pretty much but a John Deere truck as well. And we mentioned Jack Walsh to say he's definitely one of the bright yellow Pennzoil guys we usually see week in, week out. And I love the play on names and awards. I'd say look at that 07 truck, Robert DuPont. It's got the bright colors that say kind of throw back to the Jeff Gordon DuPont colors to the paint scheme. So a lot of good stuff that these guys are able to do. A lot of originality, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll hopefully try to see these guys keep them as clean as possible for the rest of the night. Definitely been some calamity so far, but we've been pretty quiet for a while, and hopefully I don't curse it by saying that, but we are approaching lap about 15, 16, 17, depending on when you pitted last on these fuel runs here. So we'll probably be starting to look for the next fuel pit stops, probably tires as well, to happen here in the next 5 to 6 laps or so. So definitely try and get that strategy right. You want to definitely be in the bottom lane if you can, or if you're Sebastian Marin, go from the top all the way down across and pick up a few spots on that pit entry. But definitely want to start planning that strategy. I'm sure you'll see that 23 in the one car again pitting at the same time like last time. They were able to definitely make a huge advantage to get back up to the front of this pack. So pit stops real critical, getting in and out of your pit box, not speeding, not sliding the tires, and definitely paying attention to the fact that you're going to have cold tires as you try to make it through 1 and 2. So you really got to be careful to not spin the car out as you get back to the backstretch there. So it'll be fun to see in the next couple laps.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of, like I said, the big point of the race here. But you can see what's really done is it's really, again, separated that field a little bit, as you can see them working around that 99 end to 18. And this, again, it's going to add some people to the mix on that Lucky Dog battle. It's actually that 99 and 18 with that pass right there. They actually, as you see there, the 25 trying to get down to the inside lane. I don't know how he made that fit there, Boomer, but that 25 just squeezed across the nose of that 99. And, I mean, I think inches is giving that a little bit more margin. As I say, that Gary Sapinski, a little bit of contact. As I think it was nothing intentional. It's the 32 trying to push him, and unfortunately that's going to hurt both of their chances here. But we stay green because they're able to keep both trucks straight. But unfortunately, I say BK Anderson just trying to gather things back up and get back up to speed. And for Gary Slapinski, kind of the same boat here. It looks like that truck is still in pretty good shape here. So what that has done, though, is that's moved now Maxwell Caldwell, Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler to lead the second line here on the outside as they continue to control this race. But it's opened up the opportunity. Oh man, that 23 again. He jumps in front of that 99 truck. And man, William George is probably feeling like he's a pinball right here with these guys jumping in front of him. These guys are getting after it. And now you say these guys getting ready because we're right in the edge of that pit window, but everything just went from 0 to 11 there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a pretty quick way to go from the penthouse to the outhouse and destroy your night by all this moving around. But we'll have to wait and see. Definitely doors open. I think these guys could definitely make it 20 more laps by the time they would get off pit road. So definitely look to see a bunch of pit stops this time by, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think now it's just a question of how much wiggle room do you want on the fuel mileage side of things. Keith Horner pitted at 35, so he probably doesn't have too much further he can go. But he's gonna go another lap here. Now you got Eric Laurie and Brian Wang trying to push for all they are worth to try to get to the front of this pack. As again, a little side-to-side action there. The 25 is not quite clear, but man, these guys, yeah, there's no holds bar right now. These guys are going after it tooth and nail. And I'm watching Sebastian Marin. Look at that gap he's built between himself and the 94. I think you're gonna see someone slide right in front of him, and yep, there goes Eric Laurie. Again, talk about some teamwork. I think that's exactly what you see here. And now they're going to say now Brian Wang's going to hope that he can find someone to play nice with him, give him a little bit of slack. But look at the second group, though. Here comes Bud Steele and Michael Spell and Vicente Guerrero. I say all the strategy, these guys trying to give each other space here. This is a perfect opportunity for this second pack here to try to make a big charge here before pit stops.
As we see a bunch of them coming to pit road this time by. So we'll try and get... Looks like we've got the 37, the 25, the 94, the 23, the 1, the 071, the 78, the 01, the 45, the 101, the 07, the 171, the 59, and the 08 are coming that time. Wow, that's a lot of cars.
Yeah, so you got about a solid 10, 15 trucks here hitting pit road, including our 3 championship contenders here all hitting pit road. But I'm going to say, though, I really, really like that move there by Michael Spell, Bud Steele there. Everybody was slowing down, trying to play nice and get squared away, get into pit stops. A lot of teamwork going on. And Bud and Michael said, you know what, let's just go to the third lane here. Let's make these passes because now they've basically effectively kind of cycled themselves to the front of the field. And so they should be able to be pitting. I say they'll probably hit the pit road this time, but kind of effectively towards the front of the field. Michael Spell a little too hot. Yeah, he's going to hit that commitment cone. That's going to be a stop and hold for that 88 truck, unfortunately. But going to have looks like about 6 to 7 trucks hitting pit road this time around. So yeah, so literally a 1 lap cycle between our whole fields when they are going to make those pit stops.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little bit easier to have to come down without so many cars, or trucks, I should say, for sure. But yeah, it looks like the 25 of Brian Wang is going to be the lucky one to come out ahead of the pack. At least for the second pack, I would assume. Yeah, based on the 6 of Bud Steele coming off a pit road right now, this lead pack is probably going to make their way all the way around them, and the 6 of them are probably going to have to play catch up on the back stretch here. But
yeah,
it looks like I'm assuming that'll give Brian Wang and what was it, the 37 Keith Horner Jr. The lead here on this next lap, next time by.
Yeah, it was a great pit stop for Bud. Just the problem was he has no help behind him. Almost too good of a pit stop for that 6 truck. So I think he's going to be okay here because, I mean, he's going to have to hold the bottom line, let these guys go around the outside. But I think that should allow him to tag onto the back of these guys as they start to build up that momentum as well. So not feeling too worried about that 6 truck. I think he's in a great spot, but some of those other guys, unfortunately, might be in a bit of a tough position here. And sure enough, yeah, here's Bud. He's going to tag onto this pack here. So that's going to give us about 11 lead pack trucks here in this pack. And then you're going to have to go about 4, looks like at least 4 seconds now back to that 955. And say these guys are just going to have to get organized quickly because right now it looks like it's, like I said, kind of turned into about an 11 truck race here up front.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity for the 6. Obviously got a little bit ahead on his pit stop and didn't really have any pushing help to get off, but he was able to get off quick enough to maybe not lead, but be in this lead pack. So that's definitely where you want to be. Looks like we've got probably about a 5-second separation to what would be like the second pack. And there's a bunch of lap cars jumbled in and around everywhere else. But yeah, we've got the 25 and the 37 leading the inside line of this lead pack, and the 1 and the 01 on the outside. No surprise, the 01 working the outside again here. late in the race. Looks
Yeah.
like we've got about 16 laps to go passing the stripe this time.
The big thing I'm noticing, though, looking closer at that 01 of Sebastian Marin, or sorry, of Patrick Gruber, that truck looks awful clean now. That looks like a fast repair being taken by that 01 of Patrick Gruber. So say he's now used his fast repair in the 01, so say he's got what he's got to the end. So I say he's got to hope that this thing stays clean and green to the end, or that at least that he's not involved in it. The 25 Brian Wang still see a little bit of nose damage to the front of that thing. Sebastian Marin also a little bit of right rear damage, but we're in the middle of the pack. That was a big move there by Paul Patterson. I believe that was in that 926 late call, but was able to jump to the bottom just in time. As I think the leaders are probably getting pretty nervous there, but luckily they all come through unscathed there. So it's a tough position to be in when you're a lap down, especially when you have a couple trucks a lap down. You guys, I mean, they need to be in communication. Hey, are we going high? Are we getting low? And honestly, probably more likely than that is just maybe have a league standard that I believe they do have here, which is typically if you're a lap or more down with the leaders coming, they would prefer you to stay high if you have the opportunity to. But it's just, I don't know. To me, it's actually exactly right there. You see Michael Spell. As soon as they got to him, he jumps to that third lane. But I feel like Boomer, sometimes maybe easier said than done when you see a group of about, 10, 15 trucks barreling at you about 20 miles an hour faster. I feel like kind of things come at you a little quicker than you might be expecting from time to time in those situations.
Yeah, for sure. Just something you got to pay attention to. I mean, it's not too difficult if you're paying attention to like your relative and looking out the back of your ear. But yeah, for sure they'll be coming up pretty quick on you. But you want to be cognizant to make those moves early and be very decisive to make sure the pack knows where you're going, so they don't have to worry about trying to juke back and forth with you and cause a wreck. But definitely glad to get those cars out of the way. And it's unfortunate when you're a lap car, but the leaders have definitely earned that right to still be the ones up at the front of the field and get that opportunity to have nothing in their way and no accidents that shouldn't be here. So.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of the mindset I usually am as well. As when I'm a lap or more down, is like try to be like, okay, I want to be in the spot where I can let the leaders settle it amongst themselves. From time to time, though, sometimes you get in a tough spot because you might be a lap down, but in the lead pack, and it's like you'll even get those guys. They'll come on the radio, be like, hey, can you maybe try pushing me or something like that? Like for instance, I mean, right now, say not quite the same, but I mean, I'm looking at that 071 of Eric Laurie. He's trying to work that third lane here. He's got Robert DuPont also on the lead lap. Then you got the 88 of Michael Spell. I believe he's a couple of laps down, if I'm not mistaken, in that 88 truck. But he could play a role in this thing. He can be the pusher that the 071 and the 07 need here to try to get them further up the running order here as we get to the closing stages of this race. So that's kind of the mixed bag of what's the right strategy for sometimes for these races.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you've got like a teammate that might be a lap down, doesn't mean that they can't still push you and try and get you to the win. So obviously the 78 of Gary Slapinski has been in this pack the whole race, just about. Unfortunately, one lap down, but running with them, trying to get that lucky dog position back. But yeah, definitely. I think we mentioned it a little bit last week where we had a pack of lap cars and lead lap cars that unfortunately ended up wrecking out most of the leaders. So that respect needs to be there too, to know that, hey, I am a lap car and you know what, I can try and push my teammate, but you don't want to be up there causing calamity and ruining someone's race. That like I said, for those leaders who have earned that right to still be up there at least. But definitely a balance, and you can't be completely taken out of it. It's still a race car, and we're still racing out here, or a race truck I should say. So it's still a racing mentality, but got to be somewhat respectful for those guys in the lead.
Yep, definitely agree with you there. But I say that third lane, it is working. Eric Laurie, he is charged to just a nose ahead of his teammate in that one truck of Gabe Butler. And so we talked about that third truck. I mean, of Michael Spell, he's doing a great job of being that third truck. And then Maxwell Caldwell, he saw that momentum. He's hopped up there as well in the 94. So you got to go where the momentum is. And so basically what you see here is, I mean, you've got pretty much 4 even lanes of trucks here. You got the 5th truck on the inside line. I believe that's the 22, if I'm not mistaken, of Aaron Weisner. But right now, I'll say it's anybody's guess, because it, again, just lap by lap, corner by corner, just everybody starts to either edge a little further forward, a little further back. These guys putting on a really good show here as we're going to 10 to go here at the line.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of good pushers, especially in that second lane. That one, the 01, the 23. I mean, the 73 and the 98 and the 94, I should say, are all really great pushers. So there's definitely a lot of guys out here that know how to get the job done. And we'll see. That'll definitely be exciting to see who could push who to the end here. It's definitely kind of stale. There's not a ton going on. Obviously, we see the 94 keep jumping around, and now he's a third car in the outside lane. But really, that's about all that you can do to make your moves is try to change lanes, and when you change lane, move up a spot every time you do it. But other than that, they're pretty gridlocked here. A parking lot, as you would say, going about 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, I wonder if that was possibly a strategy call too, where maybe Michael Spells and Maxwell maybe kind of came to the agreement, hey, I'll still work with you guys up on the top side, but I'll let you be, since you're a lead lap car, you be the one in front of me possibly. Because it seemed like they both kind of simultaneously dropped to the back. Maxwell, like I said, Maxwell gets around the 88, and then he jumped back up. Michael went right back up there with him. So almost looked like a bit of coordination there between the two of them. But you're right, though. You could see there was Gary slides up just a tiny bit there. But you can see Maxwell, though, he's kind of torn with which lane's going to be the lane to pick here. But I think right now you can see with just the two trucks, they've been fighting hard with the 07 and the 071. Just hasn't quite panned out for them yet. So this will be an opportunity, though, if they start to drop back, who from the middle lane decides maybe, okay, now it's my turn to try to lead this third lane. So because we're getting down to it, and I gotta say though, first off is it's hats off to the 25 and the 37 here. I did not see Brian Wang being able to control this inside lane as well as he has with that nose damage. That could be accounted for the great pushing by 37 and Keith Horner.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say too. I'm really surprised that this middle lane and especially the outside lane have not really been able to make any headway. I mean, they've been able to keep that 25 clearly out front, and that 37 being dead even with about the second row and the third row, just about all the way around this racetrack. So definitely huge. Maybe tells us that the 25's damage isn't too terrible. So great for Brian Wang to be leading so many laps out here, but definitely another great pusher in that 37 second on the inside line there.
And so again, got to mention the championship battle. We talked about the 23 having about a 22-point lead over the one truck, 23 over the 071. And so, I mean, look where they're running here. You got the 1 and the 071 leading the front and or the top and middle lanes. The 23 truck just a couple trucks behind here. So at this point, I feel like the 23 has done enough to keep his points championships in the safe spot to keep it in his hands. But again, I mean, we're going to be down to 7 to go here, and say everybody's going to start to get a little greedier. And say you usually feel pretty good if you're in the front row, but when you start getting to that second and third row, but look at this big push from the outside. Eric Corey just inches from clearing that one truck, but can't quite do it, and that's going to once again bring that middle and bottom lanes back to him. But oh man, for Eric, that was just tantalizingly close where he could have cleared that one truck.
Yeah, we've got this 3-wide pack here for the lead. With most of our leaders, a couple lap cars here and there, and then about 13 seconds back, we've got a couple cars, Andrew Schroeder and Andy Brigante in a second pack, and a bunch of cars all jumbled all over the place. But yeah, definitely this lead pack here has got the most cars in it so far.
Oh, Keith Horner, big move to try to lead that outside pack, and honestly, Eric Lorry's going to get left out to dry. You talk about the 3-wide, worried about 4-wide. Well, here it is, Boomer. We've got 4-wide here.
Definitely some 4-wide here. Try to keep it clean into turn 1 here. Oh, there's contact. A wreck.
Wow. It's Sebastian Mariner, championship leader, involved as well here. So the 071 and the 23 involved. Heavy damage to both trucks. Motor damage to the 23 truck. So that's, I say, hopefully has a fast repair because that could change his championship outcome as well. But that was the concern we talked about, was that third lane. But unfortunately, see numerous trucks here with some motor damage. That 23, the 071 as well. The 07 Robert DuPont, a pretty solid hit as well. So that's going to put us, you see Robert here, looks like he's going to have to stop and pretty much take a tow there. But that's a tough one there because it was the 37 made a big move to get to the middle. Eric Laurie, he opted to go ahead and jump to the third lane, but then didn't get any help there. And you can see just looks like maybe a little contact, not sure if net code or not, between the 01 and the 071.
071, yeah.
And then from there, it's just kind of that according effect. And unfortunately, that was my concern for where Sebastian Mariner was running. Oh, the 22 gets up in there a little bit. That was my concern for Sebastian, though, was he was kind of right in the thick of the pack there, and so unfortunately that was not what he needed there for his cause. So he's
Yeah,
already on pit road.
definitely.
He's getting, I believe, going to get that fast repair taken, but yeah, this really shakes things up once again here.
Yeah, definitely hard to tell if the is it the O1? Yeah, the O1 moved up a little bit. Don't know if he made contact with the O71 or if he just moved up and moved up into Robert DuPont in the O7. But yeah, definitely Eric Laurie making contact with the O7 of Robert DuPont and causing a lot of cars there to need to make some repairs.
So you see everybody's trying to catch up to the field here. Say you see right here, Sebastian Marin, he's trying for all he's worth to try to get back and get around to his pit stop. Surprisingly, they actually did hit it before it was open just to take that end along the line penalty, but he's going to go around. Leaders, there's some strategy involved here. Do you pit? Do you stay out? Looks like pretty much the whole lead pack going to stay out here. And I think finally here, Boomer, I'm watching Gary Slipinski. He's wasting no time. He's up to the top. He's waiting for that pace car. And as soon as he clears the line, he should be the lucky dog. So he will finally get back onto the lead lap here in that 78 truck. So I'll say once they cross the line, he should be able to swing on by. And there he goes. Also need to mention, though, Eric Laurie, he's hit pit road. And trying to see if he's got a fast repair, because that's going to be crucial for his championship hopes. And not looking good here, Boomer. I say that truck hasn't got that little magic wand fix for his truck yet. And I say the other one to watch here is going to be that 23 of Sebastian Marin. We should see that one get the magic wand. And yep, there it goes, brand new truck. He's going to get tires and fuel as well. So now for Sebastian, he's going to have to just kind of, I mean, it's risk versus reward here. Right now we have only 14 trucks back on the lead lap after the wave round for the 78 Gary Slipinski. I mean, do you ride and play it safe, or do you do what you've been doing to get you to this point to have a chance at the championship if you're that 23 truck?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, he got the fast repair, so he should be okay. I mean, you might have some calamity in the last couple laps, because I would assume we'll probably get a green-white checkered here by the time we go back green. But at this point, it's go time. I mean, you never want to be in a position where you're laying back and hoping that something else happens. I think, especially for the 23, he knows how to get to the front. He knows how to be at the front, and I think he's going to really try and do all that he can to work his way through the field, no matter who he's working with or working around right now. Obviously, he's going to have to make up as many spots as he can. I think he still has a decent points gap to Gabe Butler, but if there were a chance where he got caught up in a wreck and couldn't finish the last lap of the race, and would have to go down a lap down because of it, that would put him down, I think, as far as maybe 22nd and potentially out of the championship. So I would say aggression is key to get as far forward as you possibly can here.
And I think that also may have been the strategy call for that 23 of pitting when he did here was with him waiting for the pits to actually open, he doesn't get that tail in the longest line, so he won't have to restart behind all these lead lap cars. So I think also some really smart strategy in that 23 truck where kind of take the pain of that really slow lap around to get to the back of the field and hit pit road when it was actually open. But then it allows him, I say, we should see him probably start to make his way around some of these lap down cars, whereas Gary Slipinski with the wave around, he's going to have to start at the absolute tail end of the field here. And we're basically going to get, I believe, an unofficial green-white checkered here, Boomer, because let's say lights are off in the pace car with 3 to go. So that's going to basically give us, or so we're going to restart with 2 to go. So I believe currently still in regulation. So let's say kind of, in a way, almost like a potential 4 attempts of a green-white checkered here.
Yeah, it looks like, it'd be a natural attempt at the first one here. So, yeah, like you said, maybe 4 attempts. But looks like as we get back to green, we're going to have Brian Wang on the inside line in that 25 car, followed by Todd Siebels in the 45, and the 37 of Keith Horner Jr., and Gabe Butler in the 1 on the outside line. So definitely a lot of guys that have been up front for most of the race here, and a lot of good pushers here in these first few rows. So definitely look to see who tries to team up, who tries to get going, and it'll be fun. It should be a shootout here. Hopefully we can finish with this first natural green-white checkered, but we still got 3 more after that because of the way this has fallen. So no matter what, it's going to be an exciting finish to the finale of this season.
Yeah, and the other thing to mention, I was actually proven wrong there, Sebastian Marin. He's going to have to restart towards the back of the field here, so it's not just the leaders in front of him. He's going to have to try to work his way around if he wants to be up in the thick of this. He's going to have about, I believe, 5 to 6 drivers a lap or more down as well, so kind of sitting in a net, probably about 20th, 25th position in that number 23 truck, so I mean, that's going to be a tough spot. I mean, he's going to have good help if he chooses with Gary Slapinski, but again, I feel like with him sitting currently in the 13th spot, I think you ride. I mean, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if bonus points, even if Gabe wins, I don't know if it's enough for him to overrun you on the point standing. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be definitely a big risk versus reward call for this 23. So we'll see what's going to happen here. Pace car is going to duck off Boomer, like I said, kind of the natural green-white checkered here. So if worst case scenario, we might have up to 3 more attempts. So we'll see. Like I said, front row, Brian Wang, Keith Horner. Row 2, Todd Siebels, Gabe Butler. That one truck also one of our championship contenders here. So we'll see what they got here on these final couple laps.
Yeah, we'll have to see if I end up eating my words for the 23 saying that he needs to be aggressive, because he may actually be able to, like you said, ride around and still be on the lead lap. So who knows? But we've definitely seen guys in the back get wrecked here. So as we see these guys take off, 25 takes the green flag, as the next one will be the white flag.
Yeah, so basically the way it works is if they can get to the white flag without any incident, from then on it's a race to the finish. If there's any wrecks on the white, it stays green. It's basically just the first truck to the finish line. However, if there's an incident, yellow comes out before the white comes out, then we will wind up doing those green light checkered attempts. And right now, it's that 37 got a little nose ahead, getting great push from the one truck. But here comes that third lane, the 048, the 052. Maxwell Caldwell's jumped to the outside line. Momentum definitely starting to shift to that middle and outside lanes here.
Yeah, definitely looking to get 3 lanes going as quickly as possible. Trying to make something happen here, make a move. Obviously, at this point, if you're on the inside line, you're really just kind of pushing and hoping and that something's going to happen or something's going to open up. But if you can shuffle out to those outside lanes, you can actually kind of try and make a move happen, and shuffle in and out and just try to do anything really. Because if you're stuck behind a truck and all you really can do is push them, so it'll be interesting to see if this the 37 and the 1 on the middle line here really can get going. But that 25 has been painting that double yellow line all night long here, really. And looks like, we do have a wreck in the back.
Yep.
Single car. I don't think we're going to have a yellow for that.
No, white is out.
We're going to stay green. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like it was Andy Brigante there in that 955, if I'm not mistaken. So up front, though, Keith Horner, he got the push from Gabe here to get to the front.
A huge push.
Can he hang on to it here? He's out of 4. He's still got the lead, but Gabe doesn't have a lot of options here. He's kind of pinned between the inside and the outside lines. And Keith Horner, he is protecting both lines perfectly, and it is going to be Keith Horner to get the win. I believe Brian Wang is going to hang on to second over Gabe Butler, who will finish in third. And then we mentioned that championship battle. Sebastian Marin, he does indeed finish in that 13th position. I believe will lock that championship up for Sebastian. See him kind of just picking his way cleanly through the wreck post race there, as everybody was going for it all at the end there. So, but man, Keith Horner, a great push at the end from that one truck, but I think did a great job working that middle lane and stayed dedicated to that pusher in the one truck, which has allowed him to hang on to that win here tonight.
Yeah, that one was definitely pushing really hard and was definitely locked onto that 37. Definitely a big reason as to why he had that great push to the end. So definitely want to stick with those pushers when they give you that much help for sure.
Yeah, so while we watch him celebrate, we'll pull up our final results for tonight's event, as it's going to show here again. Race winner Keith Horner there by about half a tenth over Brian Wang, as he's going to celebrate at the start-finish line. And then 0.04 of a second between Brian and Gabe, who's going to be our third place finisher. Todd Siebels, a solid fourth place finish. His teammate Robert Rock from TW Motorsports in fifth. And Patrick Groover in sixth. BK Anderson seventh. Andrew Schroeder, Joe Delecki, and Maxwell Caldwell rounding out our top 10. And then you got Jason Adams, Gary Slapinski. It took all race, but he finally got in the lead lap. Just needed probably some more time to really show what he could have done. Will be in 12th. And then Sebastian Marin, I believe our season champion, will finish in 13th. And we mentioned, unfortunately, that 955, we saw him spin on the backstretch of Andy Brigante in 14th position. And then Vicente Guerrero, Bud Steele, Justin Holland, William George, all laps down in 15th to 18th. we'll continue through again. A lot of drivers lap down here tonight. You got Paul Patterson, Bob Fitzgerald, and then these guys 2 or more down, not the nights they're looking for. Randy Miner, Michael Spell, William McKellar, Robert DuPont, and then Eric Laurie. Unfortunately, our championship contender also did not have the night he was looking for. Winds up in 25th. And then you've got these guys early retirements here, Boomer, with Aaron Weisner, Jay Hilliard, Brandon Briggs, Brian Boyd, Dean Wilkinson, Jack Walls, Corey Lane, Donald Stewart, and unfortunately Seth Gruber going to finish in the 34th position. And I say right now, it's not really the 37 truck that's doing the celebrating. He's watching everybody else do some big flybys around him there in that 37 truck. But a big win for Keith here. And I have to go through my timing and my notes here. Possibly win number 1, if I'm not mistaken, for Keith in the Area 51 League.
Yeah, it looks like, sounds like in the race chat they might have said that there was a first-time winner. So definitely always great to collect your first win whenever you can. And obviously, definitely big deal for the 23. He's can't see it on the broadcast, but he's celebrating off screen, doing a bunch of donuts here as everyone's kind of going wild at the end of the after this one. But looks like maybe doing a Polish victory lap here by the 23, a Polish victory lap burnout all the way around the track. So definitely a big deal for him to win this championship here tonight.
Yeah, so unfortunately just a little bit short, but we still got to bring him on in. That's going to be our 3rd place finisher and 2nd place in the championship. That's going to be the one of Gabe Butler. And man, Gabe, it was a wild one here. I mean, only 3 yellows for the 9 laps, but I mean, the 3 incidents there were, I mean, they were pretty massive and definitely changed the outcome of a lot of drivers' race here tonight. But you were able to kind of survive and get to the point where you had a chance at the end. But man, I'd say to me it looked like Keith kind of kept you in the perfect box there on the white flag lap. You did a great job pushing him to give a chance for yourself, but you just didn't really have anywhere to go coming to that checkered flag, and you're kind of locked in there in that 2nd, 3rd position.
Yeah, Keith did a good job. I mean, he held a good line, but he kept me behind enough for him to get a push. And I thought at one point I might have been clear of Brian. I wasn't exactly sure if I was or not. I was going to jump down, but at that point I was looking where Sebastian was, and he was in, I think, P13. So I figured, well, that's not going to make a difference. So we'll just stay where we're at and push Keith on and get him a win.
Yeah, definitely some great strategy throughout the race by you guys. Looked like you and the 23, Sebastian Marin, and a couple others, the second to last green flag stop, were able to stay out one more lap later than everyone else and managed to kind of overcut the field and get all the way back up to the front. I mean, you really were just about first and second by the time you cycled out. But tell us how that strategy played out for you guys, and what were you thinking there when you're doing it?
We were discussing if we were gonna just take what we needed to finish, or were we going to get a green checkered flag fuel. So the fact that Brian and Seabass had damage, they were using more fuel, so we decided to play it safe on the fuel strategy, stay at another lap and take a little bit more than we actually need to finish. And so it actually worked out good for myself and Brian, but Seabass ended up getting caught up in a wreck there. So, but nature of the beast here at Talladega.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was like I said, it was kind of a guessing game of what was the right strategy to call. I can confirm to you that unfortunately, I guess unfortunately, so that Sebastian does lock up that championship. But I gotta say though, we talked about a 22-point gap going into tonight. You shrunk it down to 10 points at the very end. So I mean, you were right there, and I mean, any little difference could have made a big play in it. I mean, we talked about saving the fast pairs for the right time at the right place. Unfortunately, Sebastian getting caught up on that one, he had to burn his there. I mean, how nervous were you in those closing portions of the race, just knowing how tight it was on the points and just how one little thing could change everything?
To be honest with you, I wasn't really that nervous about it. I kind of figured he had it wrapped up and the position he was in, getting to the end of the race. So I wasn't worried about it too much. I just wanted to have a clean race and finish as best I could. So I didn't have any incident points, so that was a nice little bonus. Sometimes that's better than winning. But I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. I think that 10-point difference, I'm going to call that the St. Patrick's Day penalty.
Yeah, so you definitely enjoyed yourself on St. Patrick's Day, but I mean, it was still, I mean, so you've raced here enough seasons, and some of these guys probably glad to see a new face, because so you've done a pretty good job of beating up on these guys when over the course, especially come playoff time. It seems like you just find a way to ramp that one truck up just that little bit extra as well. So, but I mean. And like you said, I mean, that just shows how you've been all season long. You said incident free once again here tonight, which was definitely one of the few. And yeah, just kept yourself in contention all night long. So definitely hats off to you, Gabe. A great season. Like I said, just come up a little short, but I mean, it's still stat wise a great season for you. And definitely really want to just, I think, one for these guys to use as like a benchmark of like how you want to be a racer. Speed wise, but then also the respect and just the cleanliness that we see from you week in, week out, man. So definitely hats off to you and everything you've done this season, and definitely want to give you the floor though for any thanks and shout outs for your third place tonight.
Well, I appreciate that. Just a shout out to the guys at the boot knockers that we've run with all season. We've done a great job in every race, I think, and pit stops, just that's kind of the bread and butter anymore. And a big congratulations to Seabass there on the championship. Fully deserved most consistent driver this year, I think. Shout out to Area 51 for putting this league on, and of course, Green White Checker TV, yourself, and your fellow broadcasters there for putting on a fantastic broadcast.
Yeah, great job tonight, Gabe. Enjoy this one. So now you got a couple weeks off. I say you can pretend like it's St. Patrick's Day again if you want to. Get a little more celebration in you before we kick things off again for next season, man. But yeah, great job. Well-deserved result tonight and the season, and look forward to seeing you more in the coming seasons.
Thanks, guys, and congratulations to Keith on the win tonight.
All right, that is our third place finisher, second in the championship, that number 1 of Gabe Butler. And then in second place tonight is that number 25 truck. And man, if you showed me the front of that truck and you told me he'd be leading the inside lane for as long as he did and somehow being able to hang on to it like he did, I wouldn't have believed you. Because, I mean, after the race, Brian, did you look at your truck to see what you were working with to be in front leading that inside line? Because I was shocked to see how well you're able to do with that nose all bashed in like it was.
Yeah, mid-race, under one of the cautions, the pit stops, when I was repairing it, I saw the front damage, and that was from the whatever lap 2 wreck or whatever we had from the very first laps, and I actually hit someone pretty hard right in front of me, and surprisingly got away with that wreck being 0x and no engine damage, and so I was pretty happy to have that little damage and not have any engine damage from that.
Yeah, definitely fortunate for sure. Looked like throughout most of the race, you were able to just kind of stick in that inside line and let everyone else kind of, be in the chaos in the middle and the outside lanes there. But you definitely seemed to hold pretty steady on that inside line. Was that your plan all along to just stick there and push or be pushed if you were out front?
Yeah, prior to the final pit stop, I would prefer to be in the inside line, but I don't think that's usually the case. But because today's race was unusually calm, maybe because the first few wrecks were very early, maybe that took out some of the guys that would have been up front, and yeah, just a very calm race today.
Yeah, definitely some early attrition. Like I said, I say the early wrecks there were. I say, like I said, I mean they were big and they definitely took out a couple of heavy hitters for sure. And like I said, it kind of changed the way the race ran the rest of the way. But yeah, I mean for you to kind of keep that truck as well as you did the rest of the way there with all the damage you had was really really impressive. As I believe. I'm not sure. I want to say you've kind of been more of kind of a part-timer in this series over the course of the season. So do you have any thoughts about going full-time for next season and kind of make a shot at these guys? Because when you've been here, you've been running very, very solid. So do we think about seeing a full-time Brian Wang next season?
Yeah, I'll definitely try to make it a full-time commitment for next season. Hopefully I can at least beat Sebastian. Maybe I gotta put down another bounty on his head for someone to wreck him.
Yeah, saying you're gonna have to. I'll say you have to also tell Larry he's gonna start owing you some royalties because he's taking over or you're taking over, I should say, where he's left off with getting these solid podium results, man. So, just a great job tonight, Brian. I say, like I said, I mean, I'm astonished how well you ran tonight with the front of that truck the way it was. So just great job tonight. We saw you up front most of the evening, so just hats off to you, and definitely want to give you the floor though for thanks and shouts like the for that runner up here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for you guys up in the booth. You guys do an amazing job. Thanks to Team Bootnaka, Gabe, Maxwell, Gary, Sebastian, and Eric. And yeah, just congratulations to Sebastian on the championship today. And thanks to Hash Brothers Performance. Check them out for your LS engine needs. And shout out to Kevin Freeze, best driver ever.
All right, yep. So like I said, go pick up your royalty check over from Kevin Hash, man. But yeah, great job tonight, and definitely look forward to seeing more of you. So great job tonight, Brian.
All right, thanks.
All right, that is the 25 up Brian Wang, which leaves us one driver left to chat with, and that is going to be our race winner in that number 37 of Keith Horner. And so, Keith, I know you're going to have at least one very happy driver with your result tonight that maybe isn't a teammate, because I say there's a Pennzoil truck in victory lane. So I'll say you and Jack, maybe the Pennzoil twins, if you will, the last couple of races. But I got to say, to me, move of the race there for you is staying committed to that middle lane, keeping kind of Gabe pinched I guess behind you is the way you could say it, preventing him from really being able to duck low or anything like that with the side-by-side action. Was that a strategy to try to keep him as locked on as your pusher, or was that one of those maybe just kind of stay with the guy that got you to the front there on that final lap?
Actually, be honest with you, the whole night I really didn't know what was going on behind me tonight. I turned my virtual mirror off for the first time, so I was kind of just focused on ahead and not causing accidents.
Okay.
Happened to be I was up front.
Yeah, definitely seemed to work out for you pretty well there, and sounded like it was your first win in the in this series. So definitely huge congratulations to you to picking up the first one. Definitely a great thing to have at the the last race of the year too. Kind of sets you up maybe for the beginning of the next season. But I guess curious to take us through all the chaos that you saw at the beginning of the race. I think one of your teammates might have even gotten knocked out pretty early, but you might have lost a little bit of friends for help pushing. But can you comment on how crazy it was early on?
Oh, those first couple of laps were I was out of fast repairs on lap 14. So I seemed to get caught up in those first two incidents, and then we just seemed to cruise, or at least I thought we were cruising. I don't know what was going on behind me. But yeah, it was definitely crazy those first couple laps.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the early on was definitely wild, and like I said, it kind of, and then from there the race really kind of opened up. But to say when Matt's in the booth with me as well, we kind of joke if there's a second or a third lane going, that's where you're gonna be. And I was saying that's kind of how it unfolded tonight as well. You're able to get yourself in the right place at the right time to make those moves. Is that just preference? You want to be the aggressor versus kind of just on cruise control during these races, or is it just do you feel more comfortable when you're working the outside of these guys at Daytona, Talladega?
A little bit of both. More so at Talladega. Daytona is a lot harder, as we can see the past couple weeks when we've raced there. But I like being up top because if I'm at the bottom, I feel like I'm locked there. If it comes time to make a move, you're kind of stuck. So I'd rather race the race than sit towards the back. That, to me, isn't really a lot of fun. And that's what I do it for, is for fun. I could care less if I win. And it's nice.
Yeah, I say winning is always a nice thing to have, and I say actually with that, I believe we went through the stats, and I believe this is Area 50 win number 1 for you. So we definitely love first time winners in the league, and we've had a pretty good share of it over the course of the season here and on the Sunday side as well. So I say how is it to get that kind of that monkey off your back, and then now from here you just saying kind of the same thing that we mentioned to Brian. I mean, does that kind of then set you up for future seasons where like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm going to be going after these guys full time?
I hope so. It's tough out here with the caliber of drivers that are in this league. It's definitely a battle.
Wow, it was a lot of fun. I mean, you did a great job. Like I said, played the strategy to perfection. They're working that middle lane and kind of controlling the field there, coming to that white and to the checker there. So great job tonight, Keith, getting the win. Definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win here tonight?
Actually, tonight I'd like to just thank everybody in the league for having me. It's been great this season. I can't wait to come back next one.
All right, man.
And thank you for the great broadcast.
I'll say it's a lot of fun to do, and yeah, so definitely look forward to having you back. And like I said, so you got that monkey off your shoulder, so looking forward to seeing a lot more of you up front, contending for these wins and going for that championship next season. So great job tonight, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, that is our race winner in that 37 of Keith Horner. And say, however, in a shocking turn of events, that 23 of Sebastian Marin somehow found a way not to be on the podium for once in his career here over at Area 51. But Sebastian, you did enough. You got the championship, able to jump Gabe by 10 points. I'm sorry, at the end. That last yellow though, say coming towards the end there, right at the end, you get that big hit, got the motor damage. What are the emotions and how stressed are you at that point of the race, or are you feeling decent just knowing that the attrition is kind of really thinned out the field at that point?
Kind of a little bit of both. I was obviously worried because I didn't know how many cars were on the lead lap or how many cars were left to be in the race in contention. And knowing that Gabe and Eric were running up there, I believe Eric got cut up in that wreck, so he was out. But I knew Gabe being up there, him still within a chance of winning the race and getting those 5 extra bonus points. I knew it was gonna be close, and yeah, when I came out, I came out 14th. Luckily, there wasn't many other cars on the lead lap, because if I finished and Gabe won the race, I would have only won by 3 points. So, if 3 more cars were on the lead lap and they passed me, or I got involved in a late wreck, it could have all ended. So, I was just trying to keep calm and try to forget what happened last year, which I kind of gave that championship away, but glad I could bring this one home.
Yeah, definitely a huge opportunity, and it's definitely been impressive to see most of the season what you've been able to do, and especially these last 2 weeks looked like they were opportunities where you're going to get knocked back quite a bit in the field and still manage to pull it off. So it was definitely impressive to see the way that you were able to manage the race and just kind of stay calm under pressure. Definitely a championship mentality, and it paid off here for you tonight with that patience to stick in it and get those points that got you the championship.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a pretty long season, or maybe it's been short, but it's felt pretty long. Especially I've been doing plenty of super speedway racing, so yeah, just like you said, trying to stay calm, trying to not overreact and get myself in extra bit of trouble and take myself out of it.
So you go from the leader of the championship in this one to try to clinch the title, which you're able to do successfully. So that leads you into on Sunday on the Xfinity side, kind of going from the outside looking in, trying to jump around your teammate of Peter DeBorgia there to try to grab that championship. Any strategy changes between the trucks and the Xfinity side being the leader versus being the being the chaser in that one, or you just do the same approach you do week in and week out?
No, I think I'm just gonna do the same thing that I've been doing, especially because I know I need to try and get all the bonus points I can, leading a lap or maybe even qualifying on pole. So I'm definitely gonna be up there because I know Peter is probably most likely gonna be running out front. But yeah, there's not gonna be any funny business between our team. It's just let's just run and see who comes out up top.
Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about the get-go too. Was even with this race between you and Gabe, it was going to be the same thing. Like I said, no funny business. Just kind of see who winds up on top and let the best man win, if you will. So, and that was what we saw tonight. I mean, you guys went after it. You guys ran hard and fair against one another. As unfortunately, you got caught in the incident, but were able to recover nicely from it. So. A great job all season long, man. I say the stats have been really, really impressive over these 12 races. I say you've had the 4 wins or 5 wins. I say I had the wrong stats up. Of course, I had this.
I believe.
Let's pull it back up here.
Yeah, looks like 4 wins and 8 top 10s out of the 10 starts that will count towards the championship, or the 11
Yep.
starts that'll count towards the championship.
Yeah, so I mean those wins going a long way, and so and yeah, once the playoffs kicked off as well, winning the first 2 races as well, I think that really kind of sets you the right approach there as well. So, just a great job tonight, Sebastian. Like I said, kind of able to avenge last season. So well-deserved championship here tonight, man, and enjoy this one, and look forward to seeing you go after again on Sunday. And then yeah, definitely hope to see you back after to defend this one here next season, man. So enjoy it and congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been an honor.
All right, Boomer, that is our series champion, I should say, of the 23 of Sebastian Marin. Say it was definitely not an easy one. Had to kind of bounce back and recover from a few close calls and one major incident towards the very, very end of that race, but kept it clean and did enough to keep himself in that championship hunt. And like I said, and like he mentioned, I was curious about the points too. And like he mentioned, Gabe having an incident-free race had those bonus points in his pocket. If he had won that race, it was going to be single digits, and that's what we talk about week after week. Every bonus point matters, and that's what we saw once again here tonight. But just luckily for Sebastian's sake, Gabe winds up finishing third instead of first here tonight.
Yeah, only 2 people coming through with those 0 incident points or 0x bonuses in Gabe Butler and Andrew Schroeder. So definitely huge points for them. Obviously, both the 1 and the 23 trying to do everything they could tonight to get those extra bonus points. Obviously, the 23 got 1 over the 1 point over the 1 with the pole position. But yeah, definitely a great battle all the way to the end, and thankfully Sebastian Marin was able to keep it smart, and with all the cars that they ended up lapping down in that lead pack, they were able to easily get out and still make a top 15 out of the night and win the championship. So it's definitely been, even in my short time covering this league, it's definitely been a lot of fun to watch. You can definitely see there's some cream that for sure rises to the top, just like you see in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. There's always those guys that are always able to make their way back to the front and make those decisions, make those moves and strategy calls. And definitely the 23 and the 1 are 2 of those guys, and it's been fun to see. Been great to see such a close battle even this deep into the season, and I am absolutely looking forward to another season next season, a full season, to be with Green White Checker TV to cover it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun going into it. Let's say we'll have a little bit of time off, but then we'll be, I'll say, probably some fun races, probably a broadcast or 2 in the mix as well. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and definitely enjoyed a little bit of a break, but it's going to be fun to get back into the thick of it. And the other thing to mention, we talked about that battle within a battle. Say BK Anderson able to top Bud Steele for that 9th position in the points by 9 points after that one. So a great job by BK in that number 32 truck to put himself in that spot as well. So I'm definitely looking to see BK in that top 8 for the championship next season for sure, though. So, but yeah, like I said, it's been a blast doing this with you, Boomer, these couple of weeks, and definitely looking forward to doing a lot more. And yeah, again, really want to thank everybody that watches, that supports us here on Green White Checker TV. Say, love seeing you guys in the chat. I know you were in there a little bit earlier, Peter, so good luck for your championship on Sunday. And then, yeah, Dean, Jack, Jamie, everybody that supports us here. Really fun. I love having you guys chatting with us and kind of just interacting back and forth. So looking forward to doing a lot more of it. So like I said, the family's grown, so looking forward to seeing that Green White Checkered group kind of continue where it's at. So until then, though, we will be back on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Xfinity Series. I'll be on board with Matt Wagner. And then, of course, that will wrap up our season for the Area 51 League. So thank you all for watching. Happy Friday Eve. And then stay tuned. We'll be back on Sunday. So until then, have a good night. Take care. Stay safe. And we'll see you all Sunday.